All right. It's been 2 days. I've been prepping all day today. This is a follow-up video to my previous video about sexual trauma. So, I need to relax. I've done all my prepping. I've got 5 pages down of notes and things I want to talk about. So it's probably going to be another long one. But this video is worth your time. This is what I would consider, maybe not step by step. I'm not going to walk you through months and months of progress. That would be a month and month long video. But this is the guide to overcoming sexual trauma, addiction, and the hole that most of us men, and honestly a growing number of women too, are facing in the modern day. So, put your phone down. This will be a long video, and there's no point in you watching it if you're gonna be grasping for dopamine. Like, if you check a text, I guess you can, but it's the tuning out that tuning back in. It takes too long. You think you're listening again, but your brain's too busy trying to catch up to really retain what you're actually hearing. It's a mess. Okay, so I'm not gonna tell you to don't check your phone once, but I mean, like, really try your hardest to just focus. Just shut it off. Just shut your phone off. You know what? Watch this. Watch my tricks. Okay. Ready? Go like this. I can't see. Hold on. Oh, no, I'm trying to mirror this. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I got a Samsung. I'm not blonde. Let's get into it, shall we? Enough talk. We got the purple lights today. Feeling a little chill. So hopefully you're ready. Alrighty. Sexual trauma and how to fight it. Here we go. Chapter 1. There's 2. I don't know why I went like this, but we got chapters today. Recap. We're gonna quickly recap what we talked about last time. Yeah, I'm a little sick if you can hear it. But that is okay. Okay. So first, sexual trauma is, in this context, not abuse. I said this last time. We are not talking about abuse. Okay. Not the same thing in this context. So get that out of your head, okay? Sexual trauma is the emotional, mental, and spiritual pain we experience from unnatural, unjust, and negative exposure to sexual feelings, ideas, concepts, even experiences. Okay? And maybe it doesn't make a ton of sense yet, and you'll see it'll become very simple. There's 5 categories that I've decided. There's masturbation, porn, casual sex, casual exposure, and societal pressures. And we talked about this last time. And I talked about them in the beginning of the video too, so if you have a short attention span, which I hate to say, but I don't like, okay, sidetrack. I don't like saying that, man. But anyways, there you go. You can go watch like the first maybe 5-6 minutes, and I'll explain what all those has to do with any of that. But more importantly, we're going to talk about the story. I kind of touched on it last time, but the story as to how I discovered this, or like came to the realization of this concept. It was probably about 2 weeks ago. I think about 2 weeks ago. And I was hanging out with a group of 4 friends, and the conversation somehow turned to PP size and functionality and things along those lines, and talking about like other people's sex lives, and that for some reason really triggered me. And it was not targeted towards me at any point. It was not that like offensive in a way that it was charged negatively, you know? Maybe in a way it was like a little bit of an ego boost, but for some reason that conversation triggered me, and I came home later that night and I relapsed because I felt insecure and I wanted to like prove to myself, no, I still got it. Prove to myself, prove to me. It doesn't matter how big my PP is, guys. I'm not the one who's supposed to be using it. If that makes any sense. Like, I'm not the one who's supposed to be pleasured by it. So that's one, and things, and not only that, but like during the whole afternoon, I felt very insecure, and this is so strange. I have been practicing, these self improvement practices for a very long time now. So I was just very confused as to why this bothered me so much, and within about a day or two, it just kind of clicked, and I thought about it more and more as the weeks went on. A couple days ago, I put it all together, and I made you a video, so you can go watch that one. I'm pretty proud of it. I think I might ramble a little bit, but I talk about good things only. Like really, I'm really proud of the work I do here. So you may think that one, I have a small PP, which is false. That's the other reason I was so confused as to why this happened, like why this was happening, because like I have confidence in myself. I don't know why it just got shattered. And if you watch the past video, those 5 categories are exactly what shatters, honestly, your self-esteem. Even if, brother, you could have a foot long and this stuff could still bother you. It's trauma. It's trauma. So that's it. That's where it kind of, where I noticed it. It all came together because I've noticed bits and pieces of like this trauma that I've discovered, but this is when it all like came together in one event, and I was like, gosh dang, man, like there's something to this. And I had to admit that like I had trauma from past experiences and exposure and yada yada. So let's move on to chapter 2, shall we? Okay, how to combat all these 5 categories of the bad stimuli, and to combat the trauma. How do we grow from this? Oh, sorry. How do we really overcome this? Okay. Let's see. This list that I've comprised. I have so much written down, man. This list of what I've comprised. No matter where you are, in terms of what you've been exposed to, like the 5 things I listed, and whether it's like you had a gradual exposure to all those things in some sort of order, or whatever one you're really struggling with, or whatever it is, right? Growth and healing is extremely possible. It is possible. Not possible as in there's a chance. Like, you can grow, you can heal. You have the ability inside you, have the capability, and you are in control here. So, the last thing I will say for this, especially because I'm trying to separate sexual trauma with abuse. If there is a tie there, depending on your, it depends on a lot of factors actually, and we won't get into those. There's too many, but you also need to have enough humility. You need to have enough humility. If you need outside help, like, you go get it. You will go get it. Okay. The 5 things I listed are very common. So if there's other things outside of those 5 that I listed that requires this, like everything I'm going to list, and it's going to require outside help from someone who, has more knowledge than I do, and people on the internet, right? Someone who's, you know what I mean? In other words, I'm trying to say like a therapist or a doctor. There's so many people who can help, who are certified. By certified, I mean like educated. They kind of know what they're doing. So, number 1. Okay, we're on to number 1. You need to humble yourself and open your heart. This was a really weird time. Is after that conversation, I was like fighting a relapse, and I think I eventually did. And I don't remember it because, like, I don't know, man. Fapping is so unmemorable. It is such a waste of time, man. Yeah, so insignificant. It's such a dumb way to ruin your day. But anyways, that night and like the next morning was just a bit of a tedious process of just opening up my heart and just feeling pain. Like I knew that I needed to feel this pain to almost its max extent to really recover from it. So instead of like burying it like it had been for years and years, like just let it all come out at one time. Like just get pummeled by it, right? This should hurt. Like you should be on your knees praying for like some sustenance. It hurts, and you need to hurt. Holy, I love loud cars. Just kidding. You need to hurt. You need to feel the pain. So open your heart, be humble, and just embrace the pain. You've made mistakes in the past. People have wronged you. You've been wronged. And I'm not saying be mad at people, but I need you to just realize, like, you've been wronged, okay? Feel that pain too. Feel the pain of, honestly, have a bit of doomerism in you. Understand that a lot of these things are just the way the world is going, and be frustrated. Be upset. Be mad. A little bit hateful. Maybe not hateful, but just be angry. You need to feel this pain. Because without it, you're just going to keep ignoring modernity. And I don't mean like in the good way where you're like, oh, I'm not a part of modernity. You're going to ignore that it exists and just continue on with your life. And continue to be a bit of a degenerate. So, be angry. Be upset. Be hurt. Be beaten down, Because the way of the superior man, we're going to talk about this book a lot today, but the way of the superior man talks a lot about opening your heart. A man lives with an open heart even when it hurts. And that's where growth comes from, okay? Yeah, like I said, you need to feel the pain of your trauma and acknowledge you are suffering from it. That was the weird thing, wasn't it? When I had to realize, like, I don't like saying that I have trauma. That sounds like such a weak thing to say, like weak snowflakes say that. And I needed to have the dignity to have those words come out of my mouth. And you do too, because if you have been exposed to any of those 5 things I listed, you have this trauma. It builds. It's not the kind of thing where like you had a traumatic event, but it builds. The more you think about it, every time you mentally masturbate or you think about these things, that's part of the trauma. Anytime there's a conversation happening in a room, or you're watching a TikTok like a loser, or you watch a movie and there's any sort of reference or that is the trauma. That's what that is. You're trying to be brainwashed and you know it, and your soul knows it, and it's hurting you, and it's trauma. It builds up. Talked about this last time. We can move on. Okay. Be aware of it. And this is half the battle. Okay. I'm being dead serious. This is half the battle. Because this is going to hurt, but it doesn't have to be that long. It's not that crazy long of a process, honestly. But also, maybe it kind of depends on your level. Like, I'm kind of on the lower end of the exposure, mostly because of like porn and then casual sex. Those are kinds of things that, yes, I've been exposed to, and like I've, the thing is, it's like they're not lifestyle choices that I've had to deal with. You know what I mean? Like I caught myself early enough in life. So the healing process might be a little longer. For me, I'm being dead serious, it was a couple hours. That's it. It was like an afternoon. It just kind of depends where you are at, okay? And whatever kind of ideology you're rocking with here. In my case, like I was just kind of praying and meditating this whole time. Just kind of trying to figure out where to go from here, how to heal. So, feed off of the soul of the universe and kind of let it guide you through this. When you can be done, when you can be forgiven and forgive yourself, like, be done. But you should be open enough to get that revelation for yourself, to really, like, know when enough is enough. You've suffered. You're done. You're good. Now, like, the real, like, not the real growing. You just did 50% of the healing. Like, now here comes the going, the fun part, okay? So, we're already on to chapter 2, but it's long, so don't worry. The doing, as I called it. So, rather than jumping around the internet for tips and guidance like I did for a long time, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of throw everything that I've learned and accumulated right here for you. So, yeah, this video is worth your time. I know we're 14 minutes in, but, like, this video is worth your time. I'm going to tell you a lot of the positives about all these techniques and these, practices that I've gathered together that I practice and I've seen in other people and myself, like, this works. Bro science is more important than the real science. You know why? Because anybody with power can change real science. It's pretty awesome if you ask me. You just go into the computer and hit a couple of backspace and then retype what you want people to believe. I love people. So bro science is honestly like mouth to ear, I should say, is more important because that's a first-hand account. That didn't go through a bunch of editors. That didn't go through a bunch of corporations. That is just, eyewitness. So if I'm going to tell you the things that I've experienced, you should probably listen to them, because that's the rawest form of like knowledge. And for thousands of years, we've been spreading knowledge by word of mouth. Okay, this stuff's important, and we don't get enough of this type of, we'll get into that way later. We'll talk about how terrible like the internet is and stuff, but don't worry about it. Okay, so I've accumulated a couple practices, and we're gonna get into that. So, and my brother's talking. He's a little loud, but let's do it, baby. All right. I'm just going to read this off the page because I don't need to paraphrase. The most important lesson I have learned in recovering from addiction and trauma of this sort, and of this sort I mean like sexual and whatnot, is truly to improve your entire life, not just the problem. This is why people don't succeed in their no-fap goals that they discover on Reddit, okay? You already lost because you're trying to just, let me just keep a streak. If you're doing no-fap November, you already lost. Why are you taking part in that? You should not have to think about that. Of course, we do, but in a perfect world, you shouldn't have to think about that. Oh, it's November, I'll just, stop all my bad habits. That's not how it works. And if you even bat an eye at, if bad culture, man. That's not the problem. The problem is not so much that either you have an addiction or you have trauma, or both. The problem is that your life is incomplete to where either, if it is mostly more on the addiction side, you're going to keep turning back to it, to cope. But if it's the trauma part, it's just going to keep your salt rubbing into the wound, because your life is imperfect, and you're going to think about that a lot more, and it's going to hurt you a lot more. And it's a bad cycle, bad downhill spiral. So this is a lot of work, but it's life-changing. And I don't know why you wouldn't do something that's life-changing. At least for me, I'm going to take any risk if I have the opportunity to just completely elevate my life. So this is worth all the effort for me. And it is worth the effort for everybody. Okay? You cannot be safe in self-improvement. You cannot be comfortable. That's not the point. That's not the point. You're tired of being comfortable because it didn't help you. Being comfortable gave you trauma and addiction. So stop being comfortable, because this is where we're at. We need to push ourselves, and we need to feel pain, because you have a whole life to fix. And I'm not saying you have to change the way you pick your nose hairs. There's habits that you just need to add to yourself. Okay. What else did I write? If you have been trying to help yourself and have been failing, this is why. You first must build up your life surroundings. So if your life is a little incomplete, a little broken, and I'm not saying oh my gosh, guys, my life is in shambles. I mean, there's just holes. There's holes. And if you're not fixing them, then that's where the coping and the rubbing the salt in the wound and turning back to your coping addiction mechanisms, that's where that happens, okay? So to fix the source, you got to fix the surroundings. Okay, here we freaking go. I'm excited, man. I've been on a grind today. Okay, so for those of you who live in Utah, and honestly, if you just kind of have a based ideology, you will perhaps agree with this. But for the sake of this, and for the sake of the rest of the practices we're going to cover, I really want you, again, open up your heart, because some of this stuff is either foreign or it's hard and it's uncomfortable. But there's 4 corners of success. If you balance these out as much as you can, invest as much as you can in all of them, you will find success. Whether any kind of success. I'm telling you, it's any definition of success, and you're going to find it, okay? Spiritual, intellectual, social, and physical, okay? That's the foundation. You got to build that up. You got to build that up first. All right, I had to take some nose drops, man. I don't like being sick. So, those are the 4 things we really need to focus on, and if any of those to you is foreign or uncomfortable, that is okay. That's fine. But again, like I said, if you're going to be following anything I tell you, don't be comfortable. And if that means you're going to go do 2 push-ups right now, do it. Pause the video and do 2 push-ups. If you want to take a cold shower tonight or this morning or whatever, go do it, okay? You need to get used to just, like, throwing yourself into things, knowing that there is a benefit to them, okay? Like, there is benefit to this stuff. You just have to take the risk and endure the pain, okay? So, in this list, it's kind of in order of, like, stepping stones, or honestly, like, we're building that foundation to more, like, boulders of importance. But I guess it kind of differs for people. This is just kind of, like, while I was thinking about this is kind of what I decided. General importance. Some of them are tied, but general importance is what they're ordered, okay? All right. Let's see. Commit and sacrifice yourself. Okay. There's a quote from this book, The Way of the Superior Man by Deida. This is modern gospel, like, what do you call this? Modern doctrine, okay? Like, Deida has, in this book, has written things that most people were either not brave enough or wise enough to write. And this book is beautiful. So, like I just said, I'm going to read this quote. This is on page 192. He wrote, "You were born as a sacrifice, and you can either participate in the sacrifice, dissolving and giving your gift, or you can resist it, which is your suffering." So, in this chapter, he was talking a bit about how life is to suffer. And we've been dying since we were born. And most of the things that we don't do or we're afraid of is because we're afraid to die. And so anyways, all he's saying is you were born as a sacrifice. Like, you either take part in this sacrifice or you just make life harder for yourself and suffer in comfortable circumstances. So be willing. I'm going to say this last time. Just be willing to push, okay? Be willing to allow yourself to be free in pain. All right. Let's do it. Letter A, semen retention, obviously. I'm 100% certain that semen retention improves your energy, presence, mental and spiritual strength. People will argue this, and like I said, it's the bro science that's more important than science. Doesn't necessarily, like, there's no correlation, and if there is, it's very small with, like, your testosterone levels when you release, or your like even your energy levels. This is all things that most people experience, but there's not a scientific reason it happens, because there's no, like, formula to it, and that's fine. But it's the word of mouth that's important here, because it takes me and most men, unless, like, you are a constant addict. If you're trying to stay away from it long enough, and when you do relapse, you will notice that it takes you a couple days to recover from, like, an ejaculation. It does affect your energy, your presence. My hair looks goofy. It affects kind of like your spiritual fine-tunedness. It dulls your edge, dulls your blade, and your strength. Right, going to the gym post nutting versus while you're on retention, it's different. On retention, you feel a lot more free and just empowered. Simple things can, like, touch you and, like, just elevate your performance. Simple things, like, you will on retention, you will either, like, it could be an interaction with your crush, or, like, you could see a dude on the other end of the gym and, like, be inspired by him and just go at it. You know what I mean? You're a lot more observant, an observer of the universe, versus post retention. You're a lot more stuck in your. In fact, I got it. Here's my analogy. When you are on retention, your soul gets to elevate. You kind of almost get to live through your aura. Okay. When you have relapsed, and if you are struggling with addiction or whatever, you don't even live here, dude. You live, like, back here. You are living behind your own eyes. You're not extremely present, and honestly, that diminishes your value. There's a quote we'll get to later, from the same book, that talks about that. But you're no longer living through your aura. You're living ahead of yourself and, like, living within the universe. Now you're just living inside of your head, and you're very drawn down by your emotions. And your hormones and other things. We'll get to actually, this goes right into my next point. Every time you relapse, which, again, in this journey you will relapse, I want everybody to know that right now. Don't stop caring about streaks, okay? It does not matter about the streaks, because you're going to relapse. it is entirely about just simply paying attention to how much stronger you are when on retention. Okay, because if you notice that you're stronger, you'll honestly just you will be stronger and last longer, versus focusing on how many days it's been. That's not gonna work. So you will relapse. Just know that, right? This is part of the healing process is failing. When you do relapse, you will realize how sexualized the world is. The myth of I need to get it out, which we've all said before, is false. That's not how it works. I've heard the analogy of like shopping when you're hungry, when you don't, da 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 da. That's not how it works. It's not like shopping when you're hungry and you make a bad choice and do something with someone you didn't mean to. It's the exact opposite actually. When you are living back here, you're more moved by this. But this is dulled. You can't even see. This, your heart, is dulled by that. Because that controls everything when you've experienced that high of a level of dopamine. And that's when you make bad decisions, is when you are either addicted or you're in a bad spiral, bad loop. That's when you make bad choices, whether it's, through the internet or through real people. So that's a myth, okay? That's made up. I promise you, that is made up. You don't have to get it out, man. And yes, my brother Mason. Okay, he's not not biological, but he's a brother. Mason brought up this point and saying that there are health benefits to to release to protect you from like testicular cancer. Which if that's an argument, that's a valid argument. Like yeah, for sure. Here's what I will say: the things that I'm listing right here will allow you to not only heal, but the retention you will experience in this time will also boost your sex life in the future. And if you're already in a relationship, this will boost your current sex life. So you don't need to do anything on your own, man. Like, you will be taken care of. Okay. So that's a fair point. But if you follow the steps, like, that point is not invalid, but you can ignore it because, dang it, you will be cooking in the kitchen. Okay. So, yeah, there's no end. It's like your favorite food or your favorite sweet. There is no end. You won't get enough of it. So you don't have to get it out because it doesn't go out. It kind of comes back. Like, it's not going anywhere. So you won't get enough. Okay. Yeah, this will improve your self-esteem in your relationships. I promise you. Like, you'll improve your mental capacity for being present when you're on retention, because like and this book talks so much about this, but there's such a deep connection with the almost like the genitalia of the human and the soul, like such a deep connection when you're conscious about it, and you can feel changes in yourself. I'm gonna stop rambling. Read this book, okay? Please. We'll talk about it later. But yeah. And when you're in relationships, you will like nut righteously because you will have been doing the things you need to do to be successful and retain. So keep up the good work, okay? You got this. I believe in you. B. Letter B. The gym. This one's really simple, really obvious, and you knew I was going to bring up the gym. I adore the gym, okay? But it's on the lower half because it's not super related to the actual root of the problem. But again, like we said, build your life up, right? Build your surroundings before you can get into the main problem. So your self-confidence will boost as long as you follow healthy mental practices, which we will discuss. I'm going to talk about the internet later. That's where that comes in. Like that, the gym and the internet actually do not go in hand. The internet can help. Like if you're looking for new exercises, yeah, go for it. But the 4-Hour Body by Timothy Ferriss is a really good resource. Just saying. But that's when the internet is helpful. I will agree. But it will kill your mental health if you just let it. I've noticed, and again, I'm rambling, but I've noticed that if I'm paying attention to bodybuilders during a time, well, obviously I'm working out. I'm always working out, but it just doesn't make me feel as successful, because there's a difference when, man, I ramble a lot. But there's a difference when you see a person. It's like if you see a super built guy in person, that inspires me. But for some reason, when you put them behind a screen, there's no connection there. You've been wired because, this is how we've been raised, this generation. We are wired to just see things, and that's our reality. We're wired to see that this guy is built and, compare ourselves. Like, that's just how we are wired, okay? So, moving on. It's a proven fact that you are more respected when you're built. Attractive people are more successful in life on average. Why? Because that's how evolution works. Good genetics, good attract. Like, if you're attractive, you have good genetics. If you're good genetics, people like you. You'll get more. Let's say hookups. But we've already said casual sex is a terrible thing. But in evolutionary terms, you will attract a better mate. Is what I'm trying to say. And you'll just be more. People will respect you if you got like a really like muscly neck, like muscly shoulders, and you got a V-taper and you're standing up tall, like, you will be respected. It doesn't matter if you're born with an ugly face. Dude, you can glow up. It's actually really simple. It doesn't take that long. Even if you're, like, overweight, it's not that hard. It really is not that hard. Okay. I'm putting this in the description, too. The 4-Hour Body by Timothy Ferriss. This is an absolutely fantastic book, and you need, anything you need to help yourself with diet, sex, performance, or working out, putting on muscle. It's all in there. Sleeping, it's all in there, man. It's a fantastic book, and I recommend you read it. Sacrifice your money, man. That will pay you off. You'll make more money in the future because you will be more alive to produce more money. So it's totally worth, like, the $15 I spent on it. You should do it too. In the description. Okay. You will increase mental and physical strength, obviously, but the mental strength, I think, is more important than the physical strength. When I go to the gym, it's not even that much about, like, how much I'm lifting, because I'm not a power lifter, and so, like, I'm gradually increasing my strength, but not for a second do I think, I'm not getting stronger, because my muscles are getting bigger, because I'm doing more reps. I don't care. That's not to downplay strength. Like, I am getting stronger. It's just, that's not what I'm focused on. I'm focused about my physique. It's all about the physique, man. Because that helps here. That really helps here. As long as you're I'm telling you, as long as you are off the internet, that helps here. Gives you just feel better. You feel more positive. And the lady loves it. So, yeah. But the mental. There are times when you go to the gym and you are tired. There are times you go to the gym when you're sick, like today. There are times when you go to the gym and you're not feeling it. There's times you go to the gym and you relapsed yesterday and you just feel gross. You relapsed this morning. You feel gross. And it's just being like, is taking that really deep breath, like all the way through your stomach down to your genitals. That breath is the one that's like, and you just kill the set. You know what I mean? That's the mental strength, because you can walk out of the gym and you felt gross going in, but after you're just like, I did it. That's massive. The discipline and self-worth you gain from bodybuilding, and you don't have to bodybuild. For me, that's what it's largely about, because I just want to feel and look good. That's my preference. If you would rather like work, like strength train, go ahead, man. As long as you find a way for that positive reinforcement. For me, all I have to do is look in the mirror and I feel good. That's it. I don't need I don't need numbers or anything to feel good. I can just look in the mirror and be like, I didn't look like that 3 months ago. And that's enough for me. So I'll just keep that in mind. For me, it's bodybuilding. If it's strength training, if it's calisthenics, good on you, dude. Calisthenics are crazy. If you're training with rings, dude, you're a monster. Good for you. But nonetheless, all that will be benefited. Wait, is that a word? I don't know. But yeah, the discipline will help you improve the other places in your life. So far we talked about super retention in the gym. They go kind of hand in hand a little bit. Start with those two, okay? Have a regular gym schedule. I know you'll be told 3 to 4 times a week. That's correct. 3 to 4 to 5 times a week. Do what works best for you. If you can't go to the gym, you just need to be hitting some mad crunches, some elevated push-ups, and a lot of body weight stuff. You don't need to go somewhere to do that. Just be disciplined, do the hard work, and make out the time in your day to do it, okay? Because sometimes the gym isn't either accessible. Maybe you're my age and you don't have the money or the resources, and that's fine. Like, go ahead. But be willing to be creative and to use the mental struggle to figure this problem out. You need to push yourself physically because it does push your mind a little bit, but it makes later on pushing your mind directly easier. Okay. And last but not least, do you want a good future, sex and love life? Because like, become attractive. That's it. I wrote become attractive, dang it. Like I said, if you are ugly, dude, you can glow up. And even if you have like a weird nose, you're jacked. You're jacked. Like, who cares? I think that's madly important. So build yourself up physically. Okay, that's most of where the physical part that we talk of the 4 cornerstones. That's what I'm talking about. We're moving on. Diet. This one's a lot shorter. Okay. Diet. By simply controlling your cravings and eating foods that boost your mood and cognitive ability, as well as sleep and energy. Again, 4-Hour Body talks a lot about that. You will have more self-control and mental clarity. For me, it's sweets, dude. I love sugar. And just simply being able to say no to sugar is huge. And when I'm able to say no to sugar, I'm just like, I'll be okay today. Like today's gonna be a good day. At least has to be a good day because I just said no to a cake, or I said no to a Prime energy drink. I'm gonna make a video of me just going off about energy drinks, but that's okay. Yeah, for me it's sugar. So, whenever I make a good meal, that feels so good. Even if it tastes fine, the fact that I just made I know the meal's healthy, I already feel like I could like jump in the ring and start boxing, because I just feel like competitively I have the advantage. I just ate a good meal. Okay. So it boosts a lot of things, surprisingly. You don't realize how much food affects you, but most importantly, it's that mental thing. If you can control your cravings in here and in your stomach, which is down here, believe it or not, you can control even further down here, control those cravings and those urges. Because sugar does boost dopamine, so does orgasm. So keep that in mind, okay? And that's really all there is for that one. We're on to D, which is journaling. I do believe journaling is absolutely massive. Journaling is how I came up with this entire script. All I have to do is I do a little bit of meditating. I kind of say a prayer. Ask the master of the universe, right? Like, what is it that you should have me write? What message should I spread? And what would benefit me in my healing process to discuss? A lot of the best learning happenings from teaching, okay? So, journaling allows for introspection, gratitude, boosted mental health, and it is a great gateway into your mind and soul. That's pretty simple, but journaling just opens you up, okay? When you're journaling, just great things happen. I promise you. I do a mix of journaling. I do gratitude journaling oftentimes in the morning. I do a lot of this journaling when I either learn lessons or have impressions. And then I have the other journal for like when things in the day stick out to me. It's more of like, that one's more of like my diary journal, because that's the one where I can just keep track of things that happened, in case like future generations want to know. I think it's awesome reading like my ancestors' journal entries, and I want to do the same for, my future generations. I want them to know what I was up to and to kind of look up to their great pappy. So there's that. But yeah, there's a very like spiritual and internal benefit to journaling. For some reason, the human entity grows greatly from writing things down on paper. So even though like we have computers and we can type things and we have phones, like hand to paper, you're manifesting things to the universe. When you have a manifestation come to you, when you have like this concept of sexual trauma came to me, I had to write this down. I had to manifest it. And that's where all these ideas came from, is because I manifested it. More ideas manifested themselves to me. So it's really important to do that. Okay. Be able to dig within yourself and manifest your lessons. Will help you through your wins, failures, and relapses. This journey is not smooth. It's not easy. And I always, when I say that, I think of David Goggins when he was saying, like, I want to die with achy knees and, like, sore joints, because I had a hell of a ride during my lifetime versus a nice, soft little, sitting in a baby carriage ride or on the couch. And I love that quote because I think that's absolutely true. Like, I would rather live life very beat up, but I lived it, man. Like, I went ham, and that's what this is about. Okay. So really be able to open up and feel that pain when you're winning, when you're failing and relapsing. It's important. This is how you learn. You're not going to have a teacher to teach you these things in your self-improvement journey. You have to teach yourself. And the universe is always going to teach you if you're open to it, okay? E, meditation. Okay. So, we're actually, we're pretty much halfway there. But these aren't, I'm going to try to speed up, but my apologies. Meditation. The power of will and focus that meditation gives you is irreplaceable. A man who meditates is superior to he who doesn't, simply because of presence, okay? And that's where this book comes back. Right on the back, there's a beautiful quote by my friend Deida. And I wrote down kind of here. Wait. Yeah, I did. But I'm going to go ahead and write down or read the actual quote, okay? When a man's value is no longer measured by what he does, by his finances or social standing, how does he determine his worth? In our new world, a man's presence, his depth of awareness, is his most valuable asset. And that is absolutely true. The world is too diverse now to just care about your finances or, again, your social standings, which is kind of one of the 5 pillars of that trauma. Social standings is great and equally evil, equally hurtful. And that is a huge part of one of the 4 pillars of balance is your social life. That needs to be very balanced. But this is where meditation comes in. You want to be worth something in this world. You want to make a difference. Do you want to? This book talks about the most important thing in a man's life is to give his gifts. Honestly, actually, I take that back. The most important thing in a human being's life is to give their gifts, right? So, this is how you give your gifts, is through your presence. Okay. The more thorough your meditation practice is, the more strength you have to simply reject your addictions and trauma. That's that simple. Okay? It gives you complete control over your mind and, your life is meditation. Being able to, concentrate on, the center of focus on your breath and to breathe deeply and thoroughly and to do it thoroughly, right? Challenge yourself. That's it, man. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Okay, we're on to F, okay? We're on to yoga. I love yoga, man. I might make a video just deep diving into, the ideologies of yoga. So I learned it in, some sort of... I had a yoga class, actually. My mom used to be a teacher, and she had a yoga class. And gosh dang, that class was awesome. But the ideologies of yoga, and a lot of these old world ideologies are banger. They have some really based and really awesome ideas. Yoga is one of them. I adore yoga. And let's get into it, yeah? Yoga is the meditation of the body. Yoga has the potential to unlock your body, which in turn leads to opening up your mind and soul as well. When you feel that you're tight, stressed, displeased, yoga can and probably will fix that, man, because your body reacts to what happens here and here. Your body is the I almost said the canvas, but no. It's just kind of it's a chain reaction, okay? So it always starts here, then it goes here, and then it goes through the whole thing, the whole body. And meditation works that backwards. You open up your body, you're loosening up. Maybe you'll do a little bit of core workout, but you're gonna loosen up nonetheless. And it opens up this, which opens up this. And that's a huge part of healing, okay? Yoga can help re-energize and heal your body, mind, and soul. I'm going to say those 3 things a lot, body, mind, and soul, because it's actually very important. And if you don't think so, then you're out of touch with one of those 3 things. You're out of touch with the 4 pillars. Genuinely, are we on that? Yes, genuinely, you could be healed through these things, or these things can be healed. And it can move around. Let's see. Wait. Oh, yes. I know what this point says. My handwriting is funny. Yoga can move around energy in the body. Yeah, okay, now I know what I wrote. Okay, so if you're horny, if you do a 20 to 30 minute yoga session, you won't be anymore. It moved the energy around your body because you were built up in one spot, most likely down there, but you don't know. The energy can be built up somewhere, and yoga having, again, loosening up your body, which opens up this and this. The energy gets spread throughout. The blood flows, and your breath and your mind, you start to focus, and the energy is spread out evenly, and you're feeling so much re-energized for the rest of your day. It's huge, man. It's huge. If your trauma is causing you to overthink or want to relapse or think negatively, like, again, this resets you. It resets you. It's so strange how effective yoga is. And if you think that yoga is like for hippies, great, because you're a hippie now, pal. There is something so irreplaceable about this practice, and I highly recommend it. Okay. We're actually getting really close now. That's a G, not a 6. G. You got to read this dang book. The Way of the Superior Man. That is what this point is. Okay. This man is doing God's work. Okay. The lessons that this book teaches are irreplaceable. If you follow the teachings of this book, you will always be successful. Always. And what that means is whether you are at your highest or lowest point, by following the teachings and practices of this book, you will be able to either rebound or, more importantly, find success where you already are. So if you just like made a big mistake, whether it's your business or your relationship, by following the practices of this book, it doesn't matter what just happened to you, because you can find success there. You can be successful at the bottom. You can be content. You can not even be content. You can have joy. You can have fulfillment and purpose. Okay. Very important. This book contains spiritual, mental, sexual, and career disciplines that every modern man needs for success. Yeah, that point right there is 100% true. All of those things will be boosted massively because of this book. I can't actually like explain to you just how like meaningful this book is. It is a work of art. Okay, last thing for this point, all right? Do you have guidance and purpose? Deida has the key, all right? Like, he has the key. So, link in the description if you want this book. It's worth your money. It's worth your time. It's worth your mental energy too. All right. I take a break. I get some water. Family matters. We are on to G and a half. Yes, G and a half. Find your purpose. That is entirely, or not, maybe not entirely, but largely what this book is about. Again, I said that like the 4-hour body is worth your money. If there is anything that is worth your money, it is this book right here. This book will, and I also have some other finance books we can talk about in future videos, but this book right here will not even like totally improve your finance so much as it will improve you so exponentially and give you so much purpose and fulfillment and so much happiness in life that if we're talking in, like, you know, your finances, you will probably accelerate what you've been doing with subpar energy and subpar fulfillment, because now you feel alive. I'm sorry if that was quiet, dude. I just realized I just did that. That's frustrating. That's embarrassing. I'm not editing this though. Not in my intentions. But I just rambled anyway, so I'm okay. Find your purpose, okay? I gotta erase that from my mind, man. Okay. Find your purpose, okay? Find God, or the energy or soul of the universe, or whatever you truly believe that drives you. Grow spiritually, okay? So find your purpose and grow spiritually. That's the takeaway. Anything that I just said very quietly, forget about, okay? Buy this book, find your purpose, and this book will tell you how to. I know you hear all online, oh, just stay on your purpose, brah. And nobody tells you how to. This tells you how to, okay? This book right here. And grow spiritually. This is one of, if not the hardest, like, form of growth in the modern day. It's overlooked, but the human spirit is real. And you will see the difference it makes in you when you try to grow it, okay? Try to grow your spirit. All right. Letter H. I'm over it, okay? Letter H. Reject modernity. Are you excited for this? Because I am. Holy crap. Okay. To be entirely honest, okay, I might filter myself a little bit, but not too much. If you are still on the internet, you are failing yourself, your family, and your true purpose. And I stand by that 100%, okay? And when I say the internet, I mean, being on Reddit, on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Does anybody use Tumblr anymore? I don't know. I've never owned a social, so I wouldn't know. I don't consider YouTube a social. I mean, it's more of a social nowadays because they're adding useless features. But in the past, it was like solely an entertainment service, honestly. And I've always viewed it as that anyways. I only used it as like Netflix. It was Netflix for me. But you're failing yourself, okay? Stop lying to yourself. The amount of good on social media, entertainment sites like YouTube, and forums is so incredibly small. Again, let me repeat that. The amount of good that is on the internet is so incredibly small. Most of what you stimulate yourself with is negative or completely useless. I keep having to pause. I'm sorry, guys. But, yeah, most of what you find on the internet, it's either negative or just, like, useless, right? It doesn't always have to be negative. It's just useless content. You are just filling your time with meaningless content, okay? Entertainment is meaningless. This is why I don't even watch movies anymore. Because, like, when I watch a movie, it's so far and few in between that, like, I can still enjoy it. But it's just entertainment for the most part. And, yeah, there's creative endeavors. If you are the kind of person, like, my woman, who can see, like, creativity, whether it's the art form or the story or all kinds of things in movies, if you can see that, then I say there's a point. For me, I watch a movie. Don't ask me if a movie's good or bad. I don't know. I just watched a movie. I don't know. I just spent an hour and a half of my life. I don't know what value it has. That's not me. That's not a skill I have. But let's see what I say here. You don't need to be entertained or validated. Validation comes more from social media, but you don't need to be entertained. This stuff it's not worth it. So quit lying to yourself. Okay, you are not independent. If you still have this stuff on your phone, you're not fully independent. You still every now and again get caught on reels. You do. Or you get caught on reels a lot. I don't know. And somewhere deep inside you're still seeking validation. If you're still posting things, there's probably a part of you that is seeking either validation or just like shots in the dark for purpose, right? You're reaching out for something. And I understand that. But you're not going to find it. You're not going to find it, okay? It's not how that works. Social media and the internet damages your self-esteem. We all know this. Kills your presence, absolutely. If you spend enough time on this, if you're on this thing for maybe 5 minutes at a time, your presence was just destroyed. Even if it was a text message, even if you could be reading something, which I guess is fine, but like that alone, that just took you out of the moment. Like you're no longer in the moment, and that kind of just destroyed like your presence entirely. That was the last pause, I promise. Yeah, that kills, man. That kills. And then one really huge thing that we all pretend we don't know about, especially social media, but yeah, the whole internet in general and movies, introduces you to like the world shared trauma, this whole sexual trauma that we've discussed. This is shared between hundreds and potentially billions of individuals, and this is all fed to us by money-making thieves. And we're all, and yeah, on social media too, we're all just being fed this trauma, and also softcore porn. It's everywhere. It's not, for thousands of years, the things that we see on social media especially with models or just basic pictures of someone trying to pretend that their life is cool. And to show that their life is cool, they're going to have their lady friend wear a bikini. You know, whatever kind of validation that creates, which isn't that much. Evolutionarily, that's not actually normal. Because of the context. For thousands of years, and for even before like we started measuring time, the way we looked at another human being, especially like the opposite, the opposite gender or the opposite sex, we didn't have like even the capability, maybe not the capability, but like the knowledge, or never stooped down low enough to see people in that way commonly. And you could argue, oh, what about the evil guy from 1490 who did this to this many women? Those are people who are like just genuinely messed up from birth. Like you cannot help them, right? And that's okay because they're dead. And in the modern day, this is just being fed to us, and it's not natural. It really is not natural to view people in the way that we view them. For people to be feeding us their own bodies, like their imagery, onto us, that is not normal. Dang it, not that long ago, it was more attractive to be a fat woman than to have a very small waist. Why? Because you were eating good. Like, this stuff changes, and it's just changing more for the worse as time goes on. So your energy gets sapped. It's part of the presence thing. Your energy will get sapped if you're not doing something. I'm on my phone when I'm taking care of like some sort of business endeavor, which is usually on my computer. I would rather do it on my computer than my phone, and to maybe send a text message or make a call, or Spotify. I do love music, as you guys know, but that is it. I don't have any games, no other apps except for Medito. I gotta meditate, guys, and that's it. The time I spend on my phone is honestly not that valuable. It's pretty standard actually, but it's the amount of time I'm spending on there that is almost non-existent, because I'm trying to be present and not have my energy sapped and prevent any form of stimulation that would somehow arouse me or, more importantly, trigger that trauma. So the choice is yours, okay? The choice is yours. Be offended, comfortable, and castrated. Because if this whole section bothered you, mostly because I'm telling you to not be on social media, that's what you're coming to. You can either choose to be offended, comfortable, and castrated. That means you're limiting the gifts. This is what this book talks about a lot. You are limiting the gifts in a men's case, right? If you're getting castrated, your gift is taken. You're limiting the gifts that you have to give to this world because you're trying to be comfortable. And like I said, you are not living your life to the fullest, or you're not even living your life if you are being comfortable. Or be free, present, likable, right? If you're not comfortable and you're present, you're not what they call an NPC. You are likable. You're a person. You have a personality. You're unique. You have things to bring to the table, right? So a lot of the cool kids at school who wear pit vipers, hats up here, they wear a chain or something, and they wear pajama pants, those guys are losers because they're dressing to be cool, but they have no personality, they have no individuality, and they don't think for themselves because somebody else who was cooler, probably an athlete with a bunch of money, who again is not actually that cool, probably dressed like that one day, and it just started trickling down to a bunch of brainless kids. So all I'm trying to say is you will be likable if you can be present and stay off of the dang internet, okay? And live your fullest life, dang it. You go, king or queen, I don't know. Live your fullest life. Go for it, okay? This is limiting. It has so much capability that's not even that useful. Even this computer I'm on has so much capability, but it's not that useful. I like to think that if I needed to at any point, I could go off in the mountains and live there for the rest of my life. Like, I could just, with nothing, Minecraft style, make myself an axe and chop down some trees. Like, I want that confidence that I can, like, fight a bear for food. Because I was busy working my butt off and being as mentally and physically and spiritually and intellectually. Wait, is it intellectually? Did I say socially? I don't remember anymore. The 4 pillars of what I said. Spiritual, intellectual, social, physical. Those ones. Be so advanced in all of those that if I encountered a bird or a squirrel, I could make friends with it, okay? The human soul is real. Animals can read your soul, by the way. If you have a good soul, animals usually like you. If you're trying to pester people like my brother, who likes to bully our animals and just be a little pest, they don't like them. Animals can read that garbage, okay? Anyway, I'm trying to have that confidence, right? That like I could just completely disassociate and be okay. And we're on the last one, my friends. We're at the hour mark. I'm sorry if it's been long. Thank you for sticking with it. This is important to me, and I feel like this is a message the world needs to hear, okay? The last step, call upon your brothers, okay? Call upon your brothers. So what does this mean? Oh, my elbow just felt weird. I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm going to tell a lot of stories, but I'm going to tell you a little story. So, let's see. I was reading a passage from The Ways of the Superior Man a couple days, it was about over a week ago, in the car. We're in a long car ride. I'm sitting in the back, reading The Ways of the Superior Man. And a passage comes where it's saying, a masculine man needs masculine men to surround himself with, and same with a feminine woman. We need to feed off of each other's energy, most importantly. And we can talk about masculinity and femininity later. This is not a video about relationships so much. It can affect your relationships, but it's not directly about it. But anyways, it's saying that a lot of times, especially when taking care of your partner, especially like, as this book is about the man, use your brothers, call upon your brothers to help you challenge yourself to either strive or to take care of her. In this case, it was saying, like, you could agree with a brother of yours, brother at heart, to mow his lawn if you did not, like, the example I gave in the book was if you failed to ravish your wife 3 times every other day. Wait a minute, no. If you failed to ravish your wife every other day for 3 hours each day, each time, for the next week, if you failed to do that, you would mow his lawn for free, right? Things like that. And that inspired me. When I heard that, I was like, that's crazy. Then a couple days ago, the what do they call it? The camel's back broke, okay? In other words, I had a lapse in judgment. A relapse, one might say. And actually, when I say a couple days ago, I actually don't remember how long it was now. It's already Tuesday, so I don't even remember. But I'm really tired and I'm sick. But nonetheless, I texted Mason. I was like, Mason, I don't know where you stand on all this anymore. I don't know where you're at. But I need a brother to just keep me accountable and check up on me every so often. Just if I come back, if you check up on me and I tell you I have relapsed X many times, I owe you $20 for every single failure I had. And he said, deal. That led later to Mason opening up a little bit, and we had another conversation similar more on his end. And I got to see a side of Mason that was extremely beautiful. I won't reveal too much. It's his personal life. But seeing a side of Mason where he just kind of like came out again to his brother at heart. And to be, Mason, if you're watching this, love you, man. But to be humble enough to really open up and like say, I need my brother's help too. Like we're in this together. We need to elevate ourselves together. And I think that's absolutely bonkers. That's amazing. That makes me so happy. I love you, Mason. But now we're accountable for each other, right? There's strength in numbers. Call upon your brothers. Challenge yourself. If it's about going to the gym, if you think that like you're doing decent on retention, but you think that going to the gym would help you more, get a brother to keep you accountable. Tell him either you go to the gym with him, or if he checks up on you X many days and asks you, how have you done? And you owe him something, money, you owe him a favor, something. If you fail to, there needs to be a little bit of pressure on the line. I'll tell you what, guys, today, if you're watching this, you know who. I spent some time with you earlier today, okay? And I was fiending a little bit. Let me tell you what. You can't tell you how tempted I was. And after contemplating for a little bit, I was like, oh, shoot, I'm going to owe Mason $20 if I do something. And done. Urge gone. Because I did not want to owe $20. Dude, this stuff works. And it made me so happy. I love you, woman. I love you, Mason. I know awesome people. And that's what we're talking about in the next little point. If you have unhelpful or poor quality friends, leave them. And you're going, oh, I can't do that. Or maybe you're saying you can, but you know you can't, Because it will hurt for 2 hours. If these are low quality people, this will hurt you for 2 hours. And then what? Then you don't care because you're free. You are no longer bound to these low quality people who don't want to see you thrive. They don't want to help you. They just want to help you. They want to drag you down to degeneracy because they themselves are low quality people who need validation from other low quality people. They don't like seeing people better than them because they know that they're not great. I wrote here, they're probably, I can't spell very well or write very well, but I said they're probably, I'm going to be a little harsh here, but if people are not wanting to help you, they're probably useless and a waste of space. That is disgusting that somebody would want to drag you down, especially if you're trying to grow. You can go solo. That's what I'm trying to say. You can go solo. More importantly, I'm not saying be a lone wolf for the next 5 years. You can go solo for like 1 week because if you're focusing especially on your social side, if you're trying to really up your social skills and status, you will find brothers. You'll find G's, man. You will find brothers to help you through this. Going solo can do great things for a man or a woman, or like if you're just trying to grow yourself, going solo will do something special to you. The difference is it doesn't have to be this chapter of your life where you're like, oh, I have no friends, no one to turn to. It could be 3 days. But it's the amount of time you spend contemplating and pushing yourself and growing yourself that eventually it's going to pay off and you're going to end up finding somebody of great quality and you're going to start building a circle of just, you're a shield of wonderful people. So when I say go solo, I don't mean become the lone wolf. I just say like leave garbage people. Okay, if somebody is not, and I'm also saying this, I'm being dead serious, okay? If you really want to change your life, if people are not benefiting you, if they're just neutral, they're still not that useful. If they're neutral, they're also probably not that like emotionally tied to you either. So leaving them wouldn't be that big of a deal because they're probably a bit of an NPC, or just not very useful if they're a little bit like just neutral with you. You don't need them. You either make that effort forward to get closer to them if you see something in them, which is, a little unlikely, if you've known them for a while, or I guess there's multiple outcomes that come out of this. All I'm trying to say is just don't waste your energy on poor quality people. Your life matters more than any other life. You know why? Because you can control yours and nobody else can. Dude, that's a banger quote. I don't know who said that or if I said that, but the most important life on this planet is that of your own because you can control it, okay? So, there you go. All right, bonus tip. The last thing and I'm done. Find hobbies that align with your purpose, whether it is creative or educational, whether it's one of those endeavors. For me, it's largely music, but I do just like to learn. And, my health is very important to me as I'm sick. I like to play basketball, I like to golf. Those are physical things. I like to fish. A lot of these things kind of align with a bit with my purpose. It's not the kind of thing where I go spend hours every day. I will do these things for just a little tad bit every day because I'm busy on the more important things. But find hobbies. What I'm trying to say is all of these things, if you follow these practices, your time will be taken up, which shrinks the windows you have of falling short, of relapsing or just giving into your trauma and letting it hurt you when you don't need it to hurt you anymore. You've endured the pain, citizen, sergeant. You've endured the pain. You don't need it to let it bother you anymore. And so, yeah, find hobbies and follow these practices. I'm telling you. I'm going to read through them one more time. Okay, I'm not going to actually read through them. I'm going to list them off. Okay, you ready? And this is kind of in order. I'm actually going to reorder this. That's okay. Semen retention is number 1. Number 1 is it's the first one you do. I'm not saying it's the least important, but it's the first one you do. Why are you going to complain about sexual trauma and addiction if you're not going to do that? Okay. Semen retention. This just means going on as long as you can until you relapse. Just as hard as you can. Go as hard as you can. Okay. Go all out. I'm also going to put the gym and new hobbies in the same bit. The gym and new hobbies, very important. Make sure your hobbies don't take away from your purpose, though. Align your hobbies with your purpose, which is why I'm also going to put find your purpose, G 1.5, next. Find your purpose, okay? Read The Way of the Superior Man. Find your purpose. Diet, it's a lot mental, but honestly, if you can just, you are what you eat. Put better things into you and you'll feel better, okay? Diet's very simple. Journaling opens up your soul, your mind, and it allows you to take part in introspection, and that is massive. Everybody needs to do that. If you can't do introspection, you're probably very hurt or just very out of touch with yourself, and it's making your life very hard, okay? Journaling is very important. Okay, meditation is underrated. I don't know why not everybody meditates. It is so incredibly important. Same with yoga. If you don't have flexibility like me, that's not what it's about. It could be, but it's so much more about just like opening yourself up, you know? Evolving. Yoga is massive. Read The Way of the Superior Man. Link in the description. And reject modernity. Am I saying that even right? Modernity. Call upon your brothers. All right. Here's my video. It's an hour and about 11 minutes in. Thank you for watching. I'm not super qualified for this, but I want to share my message to the world, the lessons that I've learned, and I want to improve as many lives as possible because this world has the potential to be amazing. We've seen amazing things happen, man. And when I say man, I mean the human race, okay? We're not doing any of that funny nonsense here. Man, people, human beings, are and is and are capable of amazing things. We've seen this throughout history. We can do incredible things. And it's a shame that simple things, like little habits that we all have the ability to partake in, and we all do partake in, and we're all exposed to, can just throw us off course completely and honestly just kind of put us to waste. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that there is a positive environment somewhere out there in the world. And when I say positive, that doesn't always mean I'm going to be nice. But positive means that benefits come out of these teachings and lessons. Because, yeah, I just trashed on anybody with social media for like 10 minutes. And that's not necessarily positive. I wasn't being nice to people. But, like, tough love is necessary. Tough love is necessary. So is nurturing love. This is why we have, it's a balance, it's the yin and yang, baby. It's important. So, thank you for watching. Links in the descriptions to these books. Anything else I feel like I should put down there, I'll put it down there. And you have an amazing day. I'll see you later.